Woodward Bets back in the house. I'm working on my yo call. Heading to Vegas next week. So yo 11 on the craps table. So we're bringing that same energy here on Woodward Bets. Welcome in to the show here on a Thursday. Beer and Scott in the house, and this guy just throwing money around. I don't know if this is in has to do with his Michigan Wolverines choking away a 17-point lead today, falling to Indiana. So we will certainly talk about that. But welcome into the show. Do us a favor. If you're on YouTube, get involved in the chat. We want to talk to you guys about what's going on here in the sports world. If you're checking us out there, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. Head over to Twitter as well. Give us a follow at Woodward Bets. And we want to keep plugging this bracket contest. These brackets are coming out this weekend. So woodwardsportsbracket.com, prizes to the top 3 entries here. And if you're one of our loyal listeners, and we appreciate each and every one of you, make sure you put, the WB after your entry. So we can represent for the Woodward Bets team here in this contest. But first place going to walk away with $1,000. We got Yeezys on the line. We got pizza parties on the line. So make sure that you go and get involved with this. Again, woodwardsportsbracket.com. So Scott, we got a lot to recap here. Let's start with Michigan. That game earlier today, again, a disappointing loss. Getting their coach back behind the, on the bench, and a big lead. You're looking good, feeling good, and then things go to hell, and Indiana ends up winning. So that's the bad news. The good news is we talked about this game yesterday. I think we both agreed. Indiana was probably the better play here with the points. These teams were very evenly matched. So, at least your team may have lost. Hopefully some of you recouped some of that with a bet on Indiana. But, Scott, a tough loss here for Michigan. Where do you think they stand here? I know you said yesterday they're in. I think they're in as well, but maybe now are they one of those play-in games? Where do you think they stand here after this loss here?
Yeah, Bear, we were a little bit afraid of that matchup with Indiana. Obviously, they got their backs against the wall, trying to get in the tournament themselves. I still believe Michigan's in the tournament. To be truthful, I think they're going to end up with like a 7 seed. I thought about it, like could they be an 8 or a 9 seed? But it'd be pretty rough to put them as an 8 or 9 seed and have to play a number 1 seed in the second round. I think that'd be a real tough matchup for a 1 seed. I don't think they do that. So I think they're either going to be a 7, maybe a 10. I could say maybe the worst, but I still think they get in. But yeah, as a fan, that was pretty frustrating. Seeing them dominating as they were cruising along, and then all of a sudden they're in that second half. It just went to shit real quick. But yeah, I mean, it was almost like a home game for Indiana. They got that momentum, and it just kept falling down. Michigan just with some untimely turnovers there, and it just did them in. But Beer, I mean, how good are these handicappers, Beer? I mean, we keep seeing it time and time again. I mean, 1-point victories. Pistons last night lose by a half point. It's like, come on, man. I mean, yeah, it just makes you. It just gives you kudos to these guys who do this professionally as far as making the lines, because man, they are so close so many times. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, let's go to the Pistons. Tough loss last night to Chicago, 114-108. And that doesn't really tell the story of that game, Scott. I think you were probably feeling good after 3 quarters. Pistons had a 7-point lead entering the fourth quarter here, playing very well. Then only score 17 points in the fourth quarter, allow 30 points to the Bulls, and the game got away from them pretty quickly. So just over that 5. If you were on the Pistons plus the 5, again, feeling great. And, this is what happens sometimes with bets. You don't want to cash that ticket too soon. I'm sure there was some people already cashing in. Pistons are going to do it again. Unfortunately, come up short, but another good game here for Cade Cunningham, 22, 4, and 6. But DeMar DeRozan, my MVP pick, it's looking less and less likely here, Scott, with the way Embiid, Jokic, and Giannis have been playing lately. But 36 points for DeMar DeRozan was pretty much unstoppable yesterday. So the defense kind of let them down there in that scoring in the fourth quarter. I mean, 35 in the third quarter, 17 in the fourth. Just did not close out that game last night.
Yeah, I mean, Beer, I was this close to sending out a tweet last night saying, "All right, looks like the Pistons are gonna
Don't
keep it
do it.
rolling." And then, oh man, and then my sports betting experience took over and said, until that says F on it, don't do it. But I'm glad I backed away, because that would have been disastrous, of course. But Yeah, I mean, they had it. They had a chance even at the end when the game was over, like 10 seconds. They had the ball. They could have ran down and put it within 4 or maybe within 3. Of course, that didn't work out for us. But I mean, hey, Beer, they won 8 in a row here. I mean, they were pretty close there. They could have had that one. Lucky things fall their way. Yes, they did have a terrible fourth quarter. But hey, Cade Cunningham got over 20 points again. So I'm liking the way he's been playing here recently. But, Pistons are a little shorthanded. No Isaiah Stewart. So I think that didn't do him any favors, especially against a Bulls team. And DeRozan was just driving the lane. They just had no answer for him. I mean, they just couldn't stop him. So we'll see. But I'm going to stay on him, Beer. I think I just like the way they're playing. I like their chemistry. I just like their, like just the way they seem to be gelling as a team here when Grant coming back. So I'm not going to fade away until they burn me a couple times. I don't think this one loss here is going to hinder my run here with the Pistons. I'm going to keep going.
Yeah, I mean, again, they played well, and it's a young team. You're going to have some slip ups, and at least it wasn't a Red Wings type game where they get blown off their home court. So the story for Chicago is not only DeMar DeRozan, but Levine and Vooch. I mean, those three combined for Blues 82 of their 114 points. So not being able to stop those guys, slow them down, certainly didn't make things easier. As far as Detroit, scoring was pretty spread. You had Cade had the big game. 7 guys in double figures last night, so no real standouts. A lot of 12s and 10s in this box score, but we'll see if they're able to bounce back. I believe they're back in action tomorrow, so we'll be talking some more Pistons there. Light night in the NBA tonight, so we'll talk some college hoops. 2 games in the association, so we'll certainly talk about those. And NHL, the big story here today, so we'll try to cover that the best we can here. But Scott, let's talk some March Madness here. Let's have a little bit of fun here. One of my favorite events of the year. I remember being in grade school, middle school. Thursday, Friday, I was never in school. Just was not happening. My parents were on board with that. So you can call it good parenting, bad parenting, whatever side you may land on. But always one of my favorite sporting events, especially the opening weekend. I mean, you get the upsets, the buzzer beaters, every team in action. The David versus Goliath type matchups. There's so many great storylines here in that opening weekend. I'm going to be out in Vegas, so we're going to be living it up, having a good time. So maybe I'll be checking in here at the show and let you know how the vibe out in Vegas is. But what's your plan? What do you do for March Madness? I mean, do you just sit on the couch and watch games? You got multiple TVs going. Do you head out to the bars, the restaurants? I mean, what's the normal routine? And then maybe it's a little bit different here the last couple of years. But what's the plan here for this March Madness opening weekend coming up next week?
Yeah, Bear, I tell you what, as you said, and it always usually seems to fall near St. Patrick's Day. So, like this Thursday, St. Patrick's Day, it's like a double whammy. So I know, I'm getting close to 50 now, Beer, but man, back in my early 30s, me and my buddies, we'd always take off the first day, Thursday, meet up at a bar, drink all day, start betting, getting the phone out. There was no computer, online betting betting on your phone, and we'd be calling in bets, having a good old time. Get home by dinner time, and you're already pretty much half in the bag or totally in the bag in my case. But yeah, a lot of fun here last couple of years, as you mentioned, Beer. I mean, we missed out here. I was actually at the grand opening for the sports books down in Detroit at the Motor City Casino, and then the next day the Big Ten tournament got canceled, if you recall. So I was actually looking forward to watching and having some tournament fun down at a casino at a sports book. Now, obviously, it's not going to be as much fun as being at a sports book in Las Vegas, which I would like to experience at some point in time. But I've never been out to March Madness for Vegas. So one of these days, Beer, I'm going to run out there with you guys when you do that. But Beer, I think, maybe I might run down to some of the local casinos here, maybe check that out. There's also a lot of good sports bars you can go to, but Thursday is going to be a little bit different just because it's going to be mixed in with the St. Patrick's Day parade, crowd. But Friday, that should be back a normal day. All them St. Patrick's drunks will be hungover, and I'm sure they won't be in the bars. But always a good time when we get out and about and have some fun. I mean, we haven't had any fun the last couple of years, Beer. We need to start having some fun. Everybody's just so damn uptight as a country here. We got to have some fun, let our hair down, and watch some sports.
Yeah, I mean, no better combination than St. Patty's Day, a little green beer action, and March Madness. So looking forward to that for sure. One other thing I'm looking forward to is telling you guys about our friends over at Better Rate Mortgage, at Better Rate Mortgage. Family, more than blood. So if you're looking for that new mortgage, guys, come get treated like family. Actually, get treated better with Better Rate Mortgage. You can visit them online, mybetterrate.com, or you can give them a call, 248-480-4467. My Better Rate Mortgage, just the best. Go and check them out. Any mortgage needs that you may have, better advice, better service, better experience. That's Better Rate Mortgage. All right, Scott, we were going to talk some college hoops, but we're going to throw a little bit of curveball here. We'll get to the college hoops for sure, but NHL is big tonight. A big, massive slate of hockey games. So we're gonna see what we can do here about talking some NHL. And there he is, just like magic once again. He is back.
Yes.
Our good friend Detroit Beastie here to get us all squared away with this hockey slate, rocking the wing wheel here. Beastie,
gamer.
how we doing, my man?
Yeah, massive. I'm outstanding. Thanks for having me. I thought, am I too early? Am I too late? But here we are, right on time, right?
We'll
Early, late.
Yeah, you're good.
We're on time. I do want to say, as you 13 games tonight, that's wild. I tried to look back through, the DFS, the games and everything. I can't remember the last time it's been so packed. It's definitely hasn't happened, after the All-Star break here. But look at that. I love the graphic. There's a lot going on. It's busy. Looks like someone put a ton of time into that one. So shout out to Easy or Spencer. When we talk about this, I want to start with the Wings first. That'd probably be the best thing to do. I'm wearing red. I got the Wings hat on here. So tonight, the Detroit Red Wings are hosting the Minnesota Wild. And now you look at this, right? In the last game out, the Wings gave up a ton of goals, and I think Toronto scored 10. And then last time out, Florida hung, a ton of goals on them. And boom, here we are. The Minnesota Wild come to town, and they're hitting on all cylinders. And I look at the Wings in comparison to the Wild here, just a personal opinion, but the Wild to me, they strike me as this fast-paced, all-business Stanley Cup contender team, where the Wings, which isn't, I want to preface this by saying it's not all bad. The Wings team is young. They're hungry. They're learning to win here, but they're kind of going in opposite directions, at least for this game here. And when we dig in just a little bit further, I would prefer the Minnesota Wild's first line. We're looking at Ryan Hartman, Matt Zuccarello, Kirill Kaprizov. I've mentioned these guys until I've been blue in the face here. But sometimes, as I've always said, DFS, we have to take what the slate gives us, or it just writes itself. I woke up this morning, I'm doing my notes, I'm talking to Scott, and magically Minnesota 1 was already logged and booked in my lineups here. When you see here Minnesota averaging 3.75 goals a game, and they're firing off around 33 to 34 shots a game here. So to me, Minnesota will win. I mean, I hate to say that, I got the Wings gear on, but I have to put my personal opinions and my homerisms aside here, because then nobody, this guy's the Wings lover, he don't, wouldn't be respected here. So I think the Wild do prevail in this one, but we're looking at a close game here where the Wings score maybe once or twice late in the third period, but Minnesota hangs tight and they win 6-5. So honestly, you could completely stack this game from start to finish, but my bet is Minnesota 1. Let's move on to the Florida Panthers are hosting the Philadelphia Flyers this evening. That one's at 7 p.m. Eastern in Florida. We talked to Kelly yesterday. She's in sunny Arizona. Now we're going to Florida. Same thing here where they play. And it's always about their first line. Alexander Barkov, first line, first power play unit. Carter Verhaeghe, first line, second power play unit. And this new kid, he's kind of come out of nowhere. His name is Maxim Mammon. Yeah, say that 3 times fast. Maxim Mammon, first line, no power play designation here, but if he's in on Barkov and Verhaeghe's line, boom, here we go. When we look at this one, the Florida Panthers they're not even red hot. What's hotter than red hot? White hot, going nuclear. Florida Panthers, they're averaging let me double check, almost 4.15 goals a game and firing off a whopping 38 total shots a game. So when you put pucks on the net, something good is going to happen. We always say, that Michael Jordan said it, or Michael Scott from The Office said it, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Well, the Florida Panthers are exactly that. They shoot. They're scoring well over 4 goals a game here. And when you look on the flip side to the Philadelphia Flyers, unfortunately, I don't think we have any Flyers fans watching the broadcast. I know either one of you are Flyers fans here, but they are absolutely dead last in their conference here. Just a very lackluster 2.5 goals a game here. They're 7-13 on the road. road. They're going to Florida. I mean, this has all the makings of just a blowout here. And I fully expect Florida to just hang 6+ goals in this one, just from start to finish. Philadelphia leaves with their tail between their legs, or whatever that nasty, the mascot. He's all fuzzy and furry. This guy won't even show up tonight because Florida is going to just take it to Philadelphia here. And I could tie this one up in a bow here. And first, I want to preface this one. I love the Vegas Golden Knights. They're going to Buffalo this evening. And I looked at this one, your ramblings, last night, or, Jack Eichel now plays for the Las Vegas Golden Knights, but he was drafted and played for Buffalo all these years. And when you think about it, it got pretty nasty. Nobody really liked the guy, and he left on the bad terms, and it was just really strange here. And Buffalo, they're just not a good hockey team. And now I poked around and I looked at some papers in Buffalo, some sports writers, things like that. Buffalo's got nothing going. They're an awful team. I've talked about their first line from time to time, but Buffalo right now, they're painting this one as like their Stanley Cup championship because they hate Eichel. This guy is going to be booed and ridiculed in the stadium tonight in Buffalo. And for that reason, I love the Vegas Golden Knights first line. I got some bets I could share with you here, but Vegas's first line, Jack Eichel, first line, first power play unit, Chandler Stevenson, first line, second power play unit, and Max Pacioretty. I love saying that guy's name, Max Pacioretty. This is their first line here. And the disconnect between these two teams here is the goals against and the goals for here. When you look at Vegas firing about 34 or 35 shots a game, and they're averaging a stout 3.10 goals a game here. And I won't even waste anybody's time here with Buffalo. They're absolutely got smashed last time out by the Florida Panthers 6-1 here. So you look at this one and you go, it's just easy peasy. Minnesota won, Vegas won, stack it up, choose a goalie, enter, and bingo bango. I think the Vegas Golden Knights win here. They score 5 or 6 goals here. So just a brief to run it back. Minnesota won, Vegas won, and Florida's first line. If you want a little bit of drips and drabs here to be different, to go in an opposite direction, cut the slate down, all those DFS buzzwords we always use, go on to the Woodward bet site here, and I'll share some other like under the radar stacks like Ottawa won, or even Seattle too has been great as of late. That's what I got going on, boys. How about you?
Great rundown. I mean, that's what I got going on, listening to all the great hockey advice, as always. So, Scott, thoughts here on the Red Wings? I know you like to talk some wings as well. So, agree with Beastie, disagree? I mean, it is a spot. And I love that you said that. Like, I think the homerism, I think the three of us do our best to put that aside. When you're looking at a bet,
yeah,
sure, sometimes it's fun to just sit back and I want to bet on the Wings. I want to bet on the Pistons. I want to bet on my team, enjoy it. That's fine. But our job is to look at the game from an analyst lens, not the team that we like. What do we think is going to happen to put money in your guys' pockets? I mean, at the end of the day, bingo. We want to have some fun on the show. We want to shoot the shit, but we want to get you guys some winning bets. So we put that aside. So I'm glad you threw that in.
It would be negligent. It would be negligent of us to just give out willy-nilly advice just because we like the player or the team here. So I stick to the facts, sprinkle in a little bit of Beastie here, and this is what you get. Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Beer.
I mean, that's why I didn't pick Michigan yesterday. Yeah, that's why I didn't pick Michigan yesterday. I mean, you can't let your homerism always get in the way. But I will say, before the show started, I was looking at something. I saw the Wings were playing Minnesota, and Beastie mentioned the guy I already bet on. It's this cat right here. Kirill Kaprizov. I mean, this guy here is a stud. And, that's his rookie card. I mean, the dude's amazing. But I already bet on him to score a goal tonight. He's plus 120 to score a goal against the Wings. The way the Wings been giving up goals, as Beastie mentioned, he's on the power play. So I like that one there. So that was a prop bet that I already made tonight in hockey. And I actually looked at the DFS slate today there, Beer, when I was trying to check my Players Championship DFS teams, and I saw that NBA only had 2 games. So saw that we had 13 in the NHL, so I went ahead and booked me a couple spots for some NHL DFS tonight. So definitely, I got Beastie's notes right here next to me in the teams he likes. But as he said, just pick you a goalie. He already gave you some lines to play. So I'll definitely be mixing it up in there too. But, yeah, we need to get them Wings going, man. They can't keep giving up 9 and 10 goals and expecting to get anywhere. So kudos for Beastie. I mean, look, he's literally telling us to play against the Wings. The Minnesota line against the Wings. And, hey, rightfully so. He had Arizona. I saw in his notes and his write-up, the other night as one of his top stacks, and there they went. They scored 9 goals. So, yeah, when Beastie talks NHL, we got to listen.
Yeah, I mean, a team giving up so many goals right now. The defense is just in flux. So, the goaltending's been bad. The defense been bad. So, it's a streak you continue to play against until the Wings show you, hey, we're going to slow somebody down. We're going to stop somebody. We just haven't seen that of late. So great calls there. Guys, I want to transition to college hoops here. This Michigan State game going to start here momentarily. So I want to get the people some thoughts on this one. Scott, we'll stay with you here. This spread, 2 is what we have on the board here. I'm seeing 2.5. So I'm seeing some 3s. So it's kind of all over the place here in this one. These two teams have already played twice. We can throw the old cliche out. I know you mentioned this the other day, that cliche is kind of BS, that it's tough to beat a team 3 times in a season. Does Michigan State get it done? We already talked Michigan disappointing loss here earlier today. Does Sparty take care of business here for us tonight?
This is another team here that's just been so inconsistent, that being the Spartans. They're just so hard to predict here lately. Up and down. Yes, they've had some good wins here, but 3-7 in their last 10 games is pretty alarming. Maryland hasn't been playing that much better themselves. I think, they struggled a little bit here down the stretch here, but Beer, I on this one here, 2 points. I don't know. I've struggled with this one. I can't say I really have a lean on this one either way. If I would look at anything, I think I'd probably look at maybe the over in this game. But I just can't buy into Michigan State at this point against the Maryland team, who I think is going to be motivated to get after it today. But I don't know, Beer. I just can't do it. I can't bet on the Spartans in this spot. I don't feel good about it.
I'm fading the public here big time. The public is all over Michigan State. And if you went out and said, hey, we'll give you 2 points with Michigan State, they got a winning record. Their opponent is Maryland, not very good, below 500. They're not good against the spread. Michigan State has already beaten this team twice. Most people are going with Michigan State. Well, why is the spread dropping then? It opened up at 3. It's down to 2 in some spots. 83% of the bets are coming in on Michigan State, yet the spread is going the other direction. And that's what we call reverse line movement, is there's no reason that spread should be moving. I like Maryland in this spot, and it's not the cliche of it's tough to beat a team 3 times in a season. It's the thing that you just brought up, is Michigan State can look great at times. They can look like one of the worst teams in the Big Ten at times. So Maryland plays this team well. They dug themselves a hole in that last game. I believe it was like an 18-1 start, but they battled back. They were in the game. Sure, they end up losing by 10, but it shows you they can play with this team. Earlier this season, 2-point game between these two teams. I think Maryland gets their revenge here, and unfortunately, the state of Michigan goes 0-2 tonight. But Maryland for me here with the points, especially if you can get it 2.5. There's actually a +3 available on Maryland at PointsBet. So again, shopping around, that half a point can mean all the difference in the world here. I'm rolling with the Turtles here, guys. Give me the Terrapins plus the points. Beastie, thoughts on this one, Michigan State and Maryland?
Yeah, I read an article this morning. I was having my coffee, and it was a quote from Maryland's head coach. I believe his name is Danny Manning, and this is to quote him briefly. I'm looking forward to this one. As a team, you play 3 times in a row, you get a good feel for them. And he went on to say, we didn't do a lot of film work. We did a regular practice walkthroughs here, but they didn't really get nuts and go over film. And this is what we need, X's and O's, how to beat Michigan State here. So to me, you got to ask yourself, who's going to take this game and who's going to think they're in the bigger spot, right? Michigan State is a powerhouse college basketball team. And here comes Maryland kind of just moseying into town, relaxed, free, not watching tape. What will be, will be. They're not clinging to that 3-game kind of narrative here. So to me, I could see a case here where Michigan State is tense. They've been up and down all season, and boom, we get into the Big Ten tournament, and first round, you run into Maryland, not a big powerhouse here. But to be honest with you, of the two, I'm going to take Maryland in this one. I think that, I'm not saying Maryland's not taking it serious in comparison to MSU here, but I just love the idea. These aren't professional athletes. They're teenagers. They're college kids. When you can play relaxed, easy, and free, it just pops. It just happens here. So I'm with you, Beer. I'm going to take Maryland on this one, and bummer, 0-2 for our Michigan teams in the opening round, or the early going in the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah, I mean, Michigan State may very well win the game. Yeah, I like the points. I don't hate Maryland on the money line either. It's not a massive money line here, but I do think they get the W here tonight. So let's look at the other Big Ten game we got tonight, guys. Penn State, Ohio State, Buckeyes 5-point favorites here. It seems like a small number here against a pretty bad Penn State team. So it's one of those lines that, you know, when it smells, you got to question why. There's usually a good reason why. You take that sniff of the milk out of the fridge, don't smell right, you know, whatever, you know, leftovers. You got to toss them out here, guys. I'm tossing Ohio State out here. This number just seems too low here. Scott, thoughts on this one?
Yeah, when I saw that too, Beer, I thought, what is going on here? I mean, the Buckeyes swept them in the regular season. They won by 12 and won by, let's see here, 12. Yeah, by 12. So just kind of looking, I mean, yeah, you're right. You're looking at it like, what's going on here? Is this everybody remembering this 75-69 loss to Michigan here at the end? Maybe nobody's on the Buckies here. It just seems a little bit weird. I don't blame them. I don't like betting on the Buckies and don't like the Buckies at all, period. But yeah, this one here, the line just seems a little fishy. I would say it should be around 8 or 9, even on a neutral floor. But yeah, I'm not quite sure exactly why this line is the way it is. I'm not betting on Ohio State, but if I had to, I would lean Ohio State. But I'm just not rooting for those fools today. So I'm not going to do it.
A little anti-homerism, you know. We just talked about teams we like. Scott's like, I'm not messing with the team I hate. I'm always betting against Ohio State. So the anti version of a homer. But I kind of like Penn State in the spot, guys. I mean, it's not going to be a best bet for me, but you know, include it in a parlay or, you know, put a small little wager on it. I mean, I'm looking at 67% of the bets coming in on Ohio State, so 2/3 of the money. Again, feels very, very similar to the other game. If I laid this out for most people, said the spread's only 5, Joe Blow's taking Ohio State every day of the week, 55% of the money coming in on Penn State. So the spread hasn't moved for a reason because the money's coming in on the other side. Ohio State is still probably dealing with injuries. I didn't dig into their injury report, but that's my guess here. Beastie, quick thoughts on this one, but I like Penn State and the points here. Again, going away from what the public's doing here.
Yeah, you said that their injuries. I believe the Buckeyes are getting back. I forget what his name is. One of their shooting guards, and he only averages, I believe, 12.1 points a game. I believe their other dude. I keep saying I should have their name. That's not very professional of me. One of them is still out with a concussion after last time out here. But to me, this is pretty easy peasy. And I know, Beer, you always say this, so I'm going to adopt what you said. You don't have to bet on every game. And this one, not that it's not interesting. All college basketball is interesting, but everything I'm doing leads me to Ohio State, and I just can't pull the trigger on that, just like Scott was saying. So I'll just easy breezy right through it, and we'll just see how it happens as a fan here tonight. No best bets with this game.
All right, there you go. Before we take a look at some other college hoops, big games here tonight, quick word again from our friends over at Better Rate Mortgage.
Hi, I'm John from Better Rate Mortgage, and to me, family is more than blood. That's why I have the biggest family in Metro Detroit. If you're looking to buy a house or refinance and need a loan, come get treated better than family by me and our entire team here at Better Rate Mortgage. We pride ourselves on giving you better advice, better service, and a better loan experience. That's why we are Better Rate. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family. Actually, better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit us at mybetterrate.com or call at 248-480-4467 today.
There you go. Go and check them out. Any mortgage needs you have. One of the great sponsors here of the Woodward Bet Show. We appreciate their support, the best in the business. So go and check them out today. All right, guys, I'm going to rattle through these games, and you pick the one that kind of tickles your fancy. Here we got a lot of big top 25 teams in action. So thoughts on whichever ones you want to pick out here. We got St. John's in number 8. Villanova 6.5-point favorites. Number 3, Baylor in action tonight against Oklahoma. Baylor 8-point favorites. UCLA 8.5-point favorites tonight over Washington State. Colorado State on the fringe here, the top 25, but they're in action against Utah State. 4-point favorites. Number 20, UConn 4-point favorites over Seton Hall. Texas Tech 8.5-point favorites over Iowa State. Number 25, Virginia in play, coming off of their win last night against Louisville. An ugly game there, but UNC actually 4-point favorites here over the ranked Virginia team. And then Washington and number 21 USC. USC 6.5-point favorites. So, guys, anything there that you're looking at here tonight? Again, these conference tournaments, you don't want to bet on everything. You don't have to bet on everything. It's the beauty of this is you can kind of pick your spots, pick and choose. Anything stand out here, Scott, of these games that you want to target here tonight?
Yeah, I mean, just looking, we all know they're off top 25 teams playing early in tournaments, so obviously they're all going to be pretty much favorites here. But Beer, there was one that's standing out to me that I just quite didn't understand, and that is this Virginia and North Carolina game here pretty late tonight, 9:30. I mean, the Cavaliers are the one on the list here. Joe Lunardi's next 4 out. They need to win. North Carolina is in the field. We know they beat Duke here in Coach K's final home game, high-profile game, very big game for them. Now they're going to have to come in and play a Virginia team who likes to slow it down, play possession-type basketball. I think this game is going to be a close game, and give me the points here. I'll take these 3.5 points in Virginia all day long in this game. So to pick out an underdog of the group here, Beer, I think I do like Virginia, and actually I think this one here is might make one of my best bets.
All right, Beast, any thoughts on these college hoops games? Anything standing out here among these top 25 teams playing tonight?
Yeah, one game that stands out to me, I think it's just going to be a rout. It's in the what is it? Yeah, the Big 12 conference tourney here. Oklahoma Sooners are playing the Baylor Bears. Baylor is unbelievably good. They're 3rd overall here. And when you look at this one, the over-under is pulling me, towards, I believe it sits at 133.5 maybe. I just think Baylor wipes the floor with Oklahoma, which I think will be fun. These two teams dislike each other. They got a rivalry from start to finish, football, basketball, and now tonight here. So to me, I'm looking to grab Baylor, and I'm putting all my chips on them in a rout. Take the over and give me Baylor in a rout by at least 12 or 13 points.
I like it. Baylor's been one of the best teams, maybe the best team in the country. A lot of experience on that roster. I mean, they lost some guys to the NBA, obviously headlined by Davion Mitchell, but still a lot of guys that went through the wars last season, and that experience can be invaluable in the tournament. We always hear, how do you win an NCAA tournament? Generally, you have the experience. You have the upperclassmen. You have the guard play. I think they check a lot of those boxes here, so I like that call. Nothing here really jumps off the page for me, guys. There's one game in the Pac-10, or Pac-12, I should say, old school here, calling it the Pac-10. But I like Colorado tonight over Oregon. Oregon, for some reason, is the favorite here, and I don't think that makes sense. I think Colorado, the better of these two teams here. So there's some 1.5s even. I like Colorado, so a little bit off the board here from these top 25 teams, but that is one that I am looking at tonight. All right, we'll get a quick look here at the NBA. Just 2 games on the NBA slate tonight, so I don't know why they scheduled this way. 12 last night, 2 tonight, so it is what it is. Maybe they don't want to take the attention away from the NCAA tournaments. I don't know, but we got obviously some great games, though. This is one of those Thursday night TNT doubleheader specials. Philadelphia and Brooklyn, and we know the storyline here. James Harden, little revenge game. We will not get Ben Simmons here tonight, but Kyrie Irving is able to play in this game. So this one should be fun. And then we got the nightcap, Golden State and Denver here. So, guys, just an overall view of these quick 2-game slates. Obviously, in DFS, you don't get too entrenched in these. I mean, you're going to see a lot of similar lineups. So the same course we always talk about, save money, leave money on the table. Try to find guys that nobody's really playing here. Take some shots on some bench guys. So, Scott, DFS, what are we doing? And then we'll get into the best bets here momentarily. Yeah,
2 games, not my favorite type of slate, but obviously with Embiid and Joker on the slate, you're going to have to choose, especially over there on FanDuel, who you want to roll with. But another player you could spend up for, I mean, obviously Harden in this spot here against Brooklyn is interesting. Kevin Durant, Kevin Looney would be a great value play as well. Maybe some Monte Morris would be, maybe Andre Drummond, Klay Thompson. Not sure Barton's going to be active, but he might be another guy too. But yeah, just a 2-gamer. Beer, as I said, I logged on today, saw it was a 2-gamer, skip right on by, and gotten some hockey tournaments here, knowing that our boy Beastie was going to break down that huge slate over there. But 2 games, but you're right, 2 great games. I'm more interested in that late game, Beer, to see what happens with the Joker. So He's been playing really well. Enjoy watching him. But yeah, Beer, I think, you're right. You're going to have to leave some money on the table, be a little bit different. Maybe another way to play a slate like this too is, if you look at maybe a blowout or something, maybe you get a blowout, you pick up a bench guy that might get a lot of run in the fourth quarter. That's a way you could be a little bit different. Maybe play a guy a little bit further down the bench that might get a little more run. But other than that, Beer, yeah, there's going to be a lot of similar lineups tonight.
Yep, you got to take some shots. You got to find some off the wall guys, and again, don't be afraid to leave 1,000, 2,000 on the table. Everyone always wants to spend that whole salary cap, and then you're going to be tied with 50,000 other people with some of these lineups. So, Embiid, Jokic is definitely the coin toss here. I prefer Jokic, and it's simple. I'm going to tell myself a story here that I think James Harden's going to take on a bigger role against his former team here. So it's not necessarily going to make Embiid a bad play. It's just if it takes a little bit of usage away, and those two have been pretty even, Embiid and Jokic, that is. So if it takes even a little bit away, I'm giving the edge to Jokic in a showdown here with the Golden State Warriors. But both guys are great plays, but that's the way I'm going to decide between the two of them. As far as injuries go, not much. You mentioned Will Barton, questionable here. Jeff Green also questionable for Denver, Bones Highland. So they may be a little bit thin. Another reason that I'd side with the Joker, but you might get some value here with the Denver Nuggets if some of those guys are out of the lineup. So keep an eye on that. If Barton especially isn't able to go, and they're going to need some scoring coming from somewhere, whether it's Aaron Gordon filling some of that, Monte Morris, JaMychal Green. So those are some guys that you should be looking at as well. As far as Kevon Looney, you mentioned in the mid-range, Klay Thompson, I think is still too cheap here in DFS. And then one of my favorite guys, and I think it's just to say his name, being from an Italian background, Nemanja Bjelica for the Golden State Warriors. Also a guy you can look at almost minimum price here. So BC, I know you're deep in the NHL streets. Any thoughts here real quick in the NBA?
Deep with NHL here. But when we look at basketball tonight, I'm probably going to stay away from the DFS side of things. The idea that I love is we're free and able to choose where we want. I'm going to go all in on DFS. And tonight, I think the play is on the sports books, player props, money lines, over-unders with NBA here. And it's just a weird idea hit me. Not one of my best bets here, but let's take Harden, Embiid, Joker, and Durant. And can we parlay some sort of weird double-double parlay, or we could give triple-double parlays? So we just move the pieces around and see what we get here. Those are the four guys. I'll probably enter a bunch of parlays and bets, different legs on all four of those guys, and we see what we get tonight. I love what you said about I would prefer taking Joel Embiid with a triple-double, but now you got my mind going and the gears turning that, hey, wait, maybe Harden takes away a little of that. So then Embiid, double-double something like that. So my wheels are turning, the gears are spinning, and that's what this is all about. That's how I think. I love it.
Yeah, let's dig into some of these triple doubles. Those are always fun. That I usually try to find one or two of those a night because you generally get some good odds on these triple doubles. So let me look real quick here in Brooklyn and Philadelphia. So triple double odds: James Harden plus 240 for a triple double. So I mean they're feeling pretty good about Harden triple double. They also have Kevin Durant listed at plus 3,500. Now, the problem with Durant, doesn't get a ton of assists, so it's a little tougher for him to hit one of those triple doubles. But 35-1 is not terrible odds here on him. So we'll look at the other game here. Jokic usually has some pretty decent odds on triple doubles as well. He is sitting at plus 130. Wow, that not great odds on. That makes me like him even more. If the sports books are only giving plus 130 on Jokic to have a triple-double, that should tell you something here. Steph Curry, plus 3,400, the only other one listed again. I don't see Steph Curry getting 10 rebounds suddenly. So the double-doubles may be the way to go here in the NBA. But, guys, we've talked college hoops. We've talked hockey. We've talked NBA. Time to get some people some winners here to wrap up the show. Best bets time. Beastie, we'll let you lead off. What do we got?
Sure, we're going to stick with NHL. Obviously, there's a lot to pick from, but I've plucked a couple gems here. I have a three-legged over-under parlay and a player prop. I know, Scott kind of gave it a little bit of it away. Kirill Kaprizov over a half a goal here, but let's talk about the games briefly. The Columbus Blue Jackets are playing in Jersey, facing the Islanders this evening. I love the over 5.5 goals. I think this one, final score will be 5-4, 6-4, something like that. So smash the over 5.5. Columbus. The Islanders. Philadelphia, as I said, goes to Florida to take on the Panthers. Over under 6.5 goals. Personally, I think Florida can carry the whole weight of this over under, so smash the over on that one. And then the Minnesota Wild at home, playing downtown against the Wings here, over 6.5 goals. I mean, that's just easy peasy. As I said, I think we're looking at it like a 6-5, 5-4 kind of final. Wings keep it close. Over Columbus, over Philly, over Minnesota. And my goal prop here is Kirill Kaprizov and then Alexander Barkov in Florida and Jack Eichel. All three of them over a half of a goal. And I believe you can get that for plus 19.25. So $1 would net you $19.25. Or if you want to get wild, throw 10 on it, whatever you can do. Don't get in too deep.
There you go. Some hockey pit. Hell, Minnesota may get to that over on their own the way the Wings have been playing here. So I like that over bet there. Scott, best bets Thursday night. What do we got?
I got 3. I'm going to stick with Beastie there. I got Kaprizov to score a goal. As I said, I already bet on that earlier. And then I got 2 college basketball. I'm rolling with that Virginia. I just don't think North Carolina is going to mentally be in this game here especially after that big game they had with Duke. They really don't need to win to get in. I think Virginia is going to be motivated. So I'm going to take Virginia and the points. And then the last one, Beer, I'm going to take Colorado State minus the 1.5 against Utah State. Colorado State's been playing pretty well. And I just, I like how that one's going. And kind of looking around the industry, I've seen a few other sharps that I like is also on it. So I'm going to roll with that one too.
There you go. All right, I'm going to mix it up. I already said Maryland. That game's underway. So hopefully Colorado earlier, so I like them against Oregon tonight. And then we'll go to the NBA. Last night was good to us. I handed out Phoenix because of Kelly in Phoenix. So, a little symmetry there. And they end up winning the game as underdogs. My Bucks also covered, gave you them as well. So let's stay hot in the NBA. 2 games. I'm going to cover them both here. I'm going with Philly in this one, guys. 4.5 is the spread I'm seeing here. I just think they're the better team. I think it's going to take Brooklyn some time. Kyrie's in, out of the lineup. It certainly helps. 50 points scored in that last game. But I think Philly, Embiid, Harden, going to be too much in this one. So give me them minus the 4.5. And then I'm going with Denver at home here. Golden State has been a disaster here, against the spread. They have barely covered any games here of late. So I think Denver gets the win here. So I like the points. Also like the money line on Denver. So a couple picks for you here. Again, Maryland already underway. Colorado over Oregon. Philly minus 4.5 against Brooklyn. And Denver at home against Golden State +2. Guys, final thoughts here for the people. Beastie, what do we got?
Sure. We're getting right into it. College basketball is starting. There's pools. There's people wanting to take your money all over social media. Do your due diligence. Do your homework. Don't just hand over your debit card number or envelopes of cash. Are you valued? Be of service and be of value. Simple as that. And if you want to, make progress, get over the hump here, try being kind to folks. That's easy peasy. I try and say that almost every day.
Now, Scott, we saved the best for last here as far as another great sponsor. We got Better Mortgage. It's fantastic. We got Jars Cannabis. So before we get out of here, tell the people what's going on over at Jars.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to ask me for any words of wisdom, and I was going to say, hey, we got all these basketball games going on. Nothing better than get you some Jars Cannabis, sit around and melt in your chair and watch some games. But shop jarscannabis.com. They got pickup, in-store shopping and delivery as well. They're a medical and recreational retailer located throughout Michigan, Grand Rapids, Detroit, and more. But hey, if you use the Woodward Sports promo code or promo, you get 20% off your order. So basically spend $100, you get a couple pre-rolls or a bag of gummies on us. So definitely appreciate them being part of the show here, Beer. But yeah, always consume responsibly. But yeah, if you're at home, puff away, and let's watch some basketball.
There you go. Some great final thoughts there from Scott and our good friends over at Jars Cannabis. So make sure you're checking them out. And again, checking out Better Rate Mortgage for any mortgage needs that you may have. So enjoy the games tonight. A lot of different ways to bet. Don't feel like you got to spread yourself out and cover everything and bet everything that we talked about. Pick your 1, 2, 3 favorite bets, create a parlay, whatever it may be, and take it responsibly. Like these guys said, I think that's the most important thing when betting is don't try to overdo it and overextend yourself. So enjoy the hoops. We'll be back tomorrow breaking down this Michigan State game. We'll see if MLB can come to any kind of agreement. I'm feeling good about that. So we'll see if that happens as well. But guys, great show here today. We appreciate you guys for listening. Appreciate the chatter in this YouTube chat. Make sure, if you haven't already, hit that thumbs up button. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcast stream, do us a favor. Leave that 5-star review. We greatly appreciate it. At Woodward Bets on Twitter as well. Make sure you follow that. And that's it. I gave you enough things to do here for the show. So for Beastie, for Scott, for our boy Spencer behind the glass, I am Beer. We are Woodward Bets. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the games, and we'll catch you tomorrow.